is my best friend?
Friend in all my whatever it is.
No. I think what you're trying to say is that the Minister of Finance, but interesting enough, he called me the day before the bank was closed down. And we talked about funny things and the wife and things. And he didn't mention it. But that time, the certain Minister of Finance knew, said they closed the bank. So that's what happened. And I went to see him when the bank was closed. And he said, and I asked him, did you call me? And I mean, I mentioned that I said, Ofori. And also he called me. And I'm saying, at that time, said the bank was to be closed down the next day. So why didn't you tell me? I said he didn't have the words to tell me. I believed him because it would be different. But what happened consequently, not only did they take over the bank, they closed all the accounts of all subsidiaries of UT Holdings, UT Logistics, UT Life, all closed all your accounts. And then I wanted to see him, but then he wouldn't see me. So then you realize that because Bank of Ghana can't close those companies, they are not regulated by Bank of Ghana. So who was using what powers to freeze the accounts of all of those things?
Which one is here? Do you have that belief in you, sir? He's part of it.
One thing, Fifi, I want you to know.
Former UT Bank CEO Kofi Amoabeng Prince had some interesting revelation concerning current government and the finance minister Ken Ofori Atta out during an exclusive interview with Fifi Pratt of Kingdom FM. Uchemu said the collapse of his bank, Ojidi said something fishy was just a part of the whole process. Osteti said a day before I be collapsing the bank, on one Kasani best friend Ken Ofori Atta, a friend on phone, and he didn't come. As a finance minister, Ojidi said him very well say his bank will be collapsed the next day, and so on and channel. Or to us also Osteti say at first non believe he said Ken Ekahu. Now so subsequent issues such as Opesu Shiano after saying the bank was collapsed among others anchor so the own friend refused speaking his course approve say perhaps he was part it could be because or in vino among other things. Now Kofi Amoabeng etonebo echechemu how his bank was collapsed and in same ACC after say and the bank see a call down. Kofi Amoabeng now is CEO of UT Bank in 2017 and a government a close UT Bank saying say Ebia and allegedly Prince Kofi Amoabeng misappropriating funds. As it stands now or court back and forth. Mumenko tie di okaye in full yeba.
The mobile banking. As in using mobile advance and things. There are a lot of things that we did to change the dynamics or what was happening in the financial sector. I think that plus other things, and there's a lot of enemies or people envied us and things that are too known and so on and so forth. But that was our journey in brief to become a bank. And
why so Benyasa enemies?
Why? If you are not there, I will be Nisubai. If you come up for a big girl, be a minimum. Send of you about it's possible before the assembly. But you see, we are people. We envy people and we're jealous and want to pull them down because Obi Yana Amau Luku say or the Omo Homode. Due to me pulling down there, I say, who know here and then.
Instead, sir, also to me, but share your baby saw the secret behind your success.
Generally, very few people do it. Nigerians do it more than Ghanaians. But Ghana need it. If you know those races, when you say, I don't be or no, you'll be surprised.
Uncle, who enjoy your bank for how many years?
UT, we bought the bank in about 2009, and the government closed it in 2017. That makes about 8 years.
No, we make close here. No, we face any problems here.
We had problems. You see, when we got into banking, we had to change our processes, and then also our culture changed. Because when we bought the bank, it's a matter of merging Malaysian bank staff and UT financial service staff. UT4 had the culture that we had developed. And we had to infect the other bank with the same culture, which was almost impossible to do. They wouldn't change. UT4 was suspicious of the BPI staff. The BPI staff were also suspicious. It used to be us and them all along. And I tried hard to merge the two so we have one culture. What worsened the case was that we also had, because we didn't have bankers, UT bankers.
Okay.
So then we had to actually recruit bankers from almost all the other banks. Some came from Access Bank, UBA, Stanchart, wherever. Okay. And when they came, because they were top bankers, they were sitting on top of all the departments. So all of a sudden there's a gap between me and my normal staff, because they came in between with their cultures. You understand what I'm saying? To want to own culture, not ever share culture and spoil the culture. And then, of course, because we had also changed the processes first, and now with this kind of this time we have to do relationship banking and a whole lot of things, which is not the same. So, long story short, what happened was that the clients started defaulting on tears card. And some of the staff will collude with the client.
Oh yeah,
I know someone. What about Hosebia? If you the kind of who cry if you are friends or majors kind of boss. I said, "Sky the obey to here into there. Mamka crab now there na fight and all sort of things that happened.
Your workers now,
the workers, but the workers, staff colluding with. And then we also had problems with the energy sector because the government wasn't paying the foreign component and all sort of things, and we were doing collateral management and all sort of. So the net effect is that we started making serious losses. So we couldn't pay dividend in 2014, and then 2015 it was even worse. Bank of Ghana asked us to write off some loans. We write off virtually the bank has to recapitalize, but we did. And we put together restructuring plan for the bank to capitalize it, to improve on the collections, to get cheaper deposits, to have a look at the risk management and all sort of things. And we shared it with Bank of Ghana that this is what we're going to do. So part of it was that we had to find more capital.
Okay.
And we were talking to Bank of Ghana about it. Now, so when this government came to be, well, we had already started the negotiations with the bank, and we're seeing them all the time. We had firmed up reconstruction plan.
A year government, the
AMPP.
Okay.
AMP government.
Okay.
So I personally was surprised that they took a decision to just close the bank without even informing us. Because,
just like that.
Because bank here closing the same nearby was saying watch it sell amen kojuma. So the issue is, whilst we're discussing with Bank of Ghana, at some point they had decided they will not go on with the discussion, and they were going to close the bank. But they didn't make it known to us. The way the bank was closed, I'm sure people you heard about it. And Opa Hemachi, before 6, not police for any media for call ama yebubu UT signages into senior Bosumbia Yachino Serbia Akofo Obiri. And that's not the way to close it. And but that is what happened. Now incident is interesting enough. Now me to me weekend as normal. Me saw me sorry by 7:30. Maybe my buffer my very CNN kakra. And this thing started 6 o'clock. So the news was everywhere. So then it was when I put on my phone and who said,
calls.
I have about 60 something calls. I read. Then I called my daughter and said, why is the whole world looking for me? No, I say, maintain news. I'm saying, no, I say, listen to any station. Now, government has taken over UT Bank. So, true, I turned on the radio and it was the main news item. So I dressed up and drove to Accra to come and meet Bank of Ghana for say why that action and what do they have. They seen there rather I was taken to court for investigation at Yoko, and then they took my passport and then they process my documents for court, and I'm in court.
I see how that's all.
That's what court Tuesday. Make a court.
Wow. And then the that one say yes, so best friend. NMA or bank no cry a collapse here.
Mainly hard facts, but it's interesting because these are so-called Achim people, and I'm an Achim man, and I was friends with all of them. So for them to come to power and do what they did without even consulting the Kofi Betrayal, say, "Lose, your bank is going bad," and whatever. Utim say personal hatred or an agenda to have their own against me for whatever it is that I did. That is quite obvious.
Now, our best friend will not also run a bank.
My best friend, who is my best friend?
Friend in all my whatever it is.
No. I think what you're trying to say is that the Minister of Finance, but interesting enough, he called me the day before the bank was closed down, and we talked about funny things and my wife and things like that. And he didn't mention it. But that time, the certain Minister of Finance knew, said they closed the bank. So that's what happened. And I went to see him when the bank was closed, and he said, and I asked him, "Did you call me?" And I mentioned that I said, Ofori. And also he called me. And I'm saying, at that time, he said the bank was to be closed down the next day. So why didn't you tell me? I said he didn't have the words to tell me. I believed him because Ubia is different. But what happened consequently? Not only did they take over the bank, they closed all the accounts of all subsidiaries of UT Holdings, UT Logistics, UT Life, all closed all your accounts. And then I wanted to see him, but then he wouldn't see me. So then you realize that because Bank of Ghana can't close those companies, they are not regulated by Bank of Ghana. So who was using what powers to freeze the accounts of all of those things?
What one is here? Do you have that belief in you, sir? He's part of it.
One thing, Fifi, I want you to know. Me, beg graduate, I don't have time to hate people. I don't have time to bear grudges and go to the past and get hurt. And what I live for the present. Whatever has happened in the past, I take lessons out of it and move on. And me time will be that is my life. Who go for a show and be no straight HR. Maybe I say but after all, how long am I going to interact with you? 2 minutes at best. And I may be to hurt myself. I don't have time. And to me say believe me, I don't beg. In fact, the only problem that I have is that manage it to be one makosa baby. Now once I can't agent bank or sat near saying mukaka.
Everybody say the same best friend can once me say meeting me and yes obuane pay no cry na the bank cry collapse and obeji I think
all the people in power now, let me put it this way, all people in power now, at one point of time or the other, they came to me for me to bail them out, and I did.
You did that for them?
Yeah, all of them.
And I would you buy the into me?
But then they on there, and I just offer children.
You did well.
That's a fact. As long as you mention names.
Yeah, I know.
That's a fact. Say all the top people who are around Ghana now, at some point in time, they sat in front of me, and I bailed them out of their trouble.
Wow.
Yeah.
Affected.
But I say no. Well, I be affected. But I say so be a pull down. I just don't know. I send you pull you down. So they've always envied you being where you are. That's why they will pull you down. So leave them alone. Don't waste your time on it. Affected me, yes, of course. Quickly, I had to sell my house and I'm the team, reorganize myself, and buy a flat, move away from the big building because it won't work. Live in a flat, manage my finances, and that's it. But the point that I have to say is that a lot of people say they don't see how I'm making it, and they say the answer is very simple. You should stay humble at all times. when I was UT Bank CEO, most respected CEO, what the name Papa Ebako. Now me watch it. And then I can afford that one watch and one shoe. And I wasn't thinking I was better than anybody when I was up there. I still believe I'm not better than anybody. And that is why I also don't fear anybody, but I respect everybody. You know what I'm saying? So be humble and believe in your God. Nothing will happen to you. And that's my formula. Sometimes I even pray. I'm okay. So I don't have a problem. I'm just say,
Cortisam say baby ya na say Awurade ya dom na nkunibdie ba wa side na dia na eja bibia ma wo. Will you go back
to run a bank?
Yeah.
No.
Adolfo, so that was Kofi Amoabeng or this some revelation concerning the UT Bank Eto out. Now, as part of the interview, Bisani said, should he win his court case, will he still continue banking, or see there be he is done with banking for good? We and one of the few stories trendy. Some people deserve, and I believe this man or it will be actually the government hasn't been fair to him. Others too stated said the government has done just the right thing. After watching the video, what is your take for our dream chair concerning this? For your comment section, my Vimbas TV so and we
Vimbas TV.